Ciao. Hi. Hey. Hola, guys. Just checking I'm live on Facebook as well. Ciao. Hi. Hey. Hola, amigos. It's your boy M.K.S here, back with another video. Hope you're in it. It's a bit later than planned because it's already technically a new day now. I wanted to finish it on Monday, but now it's Tuesday for anyone who might be watching in the future or whatever. But anyway, I thought I'd finish this. I was stuck in two minds. I was going to write in my the same notebook with a black cover symbolically that I wrote this list in. I was going to write tomorrow's plans, technically today's plans, which are about talking about. I'm jumping ahead of myself because I might explain that in a bit. But I was going to write up the list for that, but I decided to do this before I go to sleep. So I thought I'd at least do part 3 and then hopefully do part 4 tomorrow, rather than having 2 videos to cover, two extra videos to cover tomorrow. So anyway, I hope you enjoy it. And these are, I normally say pointers, but these are names in the list, number 21 to 30. And actually, something I remembered, which I'm probably going to say after I finish point number 21. So as I say, list or name number 21. So as I said before, please check out, please Google about black entrepreneurs and black businesses, black-owned businesses, African-American-owned businesses for Black History Month, if you'd be so kind. Please do share as well either on Facebook, YouTube, or preferably both, any names of black-owned businesses, African-American entrepreneurs and whatnot that you can find out, or enter any links or anything like that, or names of any I might not have covered or whatnot, or who your favourite African-American entrepreneurs are, or black entrepreneurs generally from around the world for Black History Month. And I'm trying to remember what something I was going to say, but I think I've forgotten it. But I'm going to move on to the list. So number 21, Chelsea Miller. By the way, the source for this is a website called Support Black Owned, and their source is Black Enterprise. So they've took it from Black Enterprise, but I found it on the website. Support Black Owned, please, would be nice. But yeah, that's where most of these are from. And there was another one, but it didn't have the full list. You had to be a member to watch the full list or whatever. I don't know if you had to pay for the subscription or whatever. But anyway, so it's taken from a couple of lists, but many of the names are taken from Support Black Owned, which in turn got it from Black Enterprise. Anyway, moving on. I was going to say something I've completely forgotten, which is annoying. Oh yeah, I was going to say in the intro, but I thought I'd wait to point number 21 before I move on to point number 22. In fact, before I move on to point number 22, I'll probably say, I'm going to say, I don't want a better way of putting it, any African American entrepreneurs or people from the African American community who want to share any projects or tell your story, please let me know so we can perhaps arrange a chat on Zoom or whatever platform you prefer. If you know how to record it, I'm not very good at tech, but I can just about do this stuff. But if you would like to record that interview and then use it to inspire others and to promote your own project, whether that's music, movies, technology, business, or whatever it might be. So I just wanted to say that before I move on to number 22, which is I'm reading in writing. Corey Dion Coco Goyef, Gauff, I think it is. And I didn't write what they do or whatever, but you could Google these names if you like, as I say. I know something I was going to say, I've just remembered it, which is tomorrow, again, technically today, I'm hoping to Google and check out, if I can find, it's going to be a challenge, but I'm going to try and find 40 young black entrepreneurs, black youngpreneurs, and list them to raise their profile to help young black entrepreneurs. As it's the 10th, the number 10 for some reason reminds me of like youth empowerment and thinking of the future as well, like 5-10 year plans. Number 23 is Jalen Brown. Again, I didn't write too much about them or what they do. I thought it would be easier to finish this off so that tomorrow I can move on to. Although I still want to do part 4, which I'm not going to get to do tonight. But the number 23, thinking of my patterns before I move on to point number 20, or name number 24 in this list is. I hope I don't repeat any, but I guess to err is human, as they say, and to really stuff things up requires a computer or whatever. I don't know if you've heard that saying before, but I was thinking the number 23. I think of like charity, sympathy, empathy, compassion, and just basically helping others, having empathy and sympathy for others and whatnot, wanting what's best for others. So on that note, I'd love to know how you, as a side note, like how would you support? How do you think people like myself or the potential allies and whatnot? Again, I know I've asked this before, but how do you think we could support, and how do you think people could support generally African American entrepreneurs? How do you think they could support their own community? How can banks, investors, sponsors, other businesses and whatnot, how could they support them? Those who want to, obviously, I don't want to force anyone to do anything they don't want to do, but I'm going to move on. But yeah, I'd love to know your suggestions on that, how to best support African Americans, especially in business, let's say, for Mondays and Tuesdays. But yeah, in banking and other areas as well, tech, that kind of thing. I'd love to know if you have any suggestions on, like, I talked about like tax cuts for African Americans, tax exemptions or incentives at least for supporting African Americans, obviously employing them. But in terms of business, like investing in, sponsoring, and funding black-owned businesses, I guess some people will call me delusional, which is probably true. I guess I'm a delusional fantasist, but I think I guess not every African American, or just like any other community, not every African American can run a business or be part of a business or invest together. It would be interesting if all possible African Americans invested together, ran businesses together, and shared ideas with each other and invested together in each other, that kind of thing. But I don't know if that's possible or not. But who knows the future anyway. But moving on to number 24, Justin E. Samuels. Again, I'm trying to read my own writing. Render ATL. I've got here, which is ATL in block capitals. So I don't know what that stands for, I've got it. But number 25, I couldn't work out whether this was Herman or Hemman. I think it's Hemman Bekele. Hemman with spelled Heman. I don't know if it's Herman again. But moving on, number 26, Shemal Dorsey. Again, given my use of patterns, I think I like the number 26. It's like reparations. So I wonder whether you agree with reparations for African Americans or not, and if so, how could they be done? I talk about being tax exempt, supporting each other. I guess they could sort of reparate their own community, so to speak. Potential allies could support them. I think it should be those who want to do so, but they could be legal support like tax exemptions, tax incentives for investing in their community, and that kind of thing. But I'd love to know what you think about that as ever. Number 27, Geraldine Rodriguez Williams, from the Knowledge House. Another thing is they could have awards and acknowledgements, appreciation and celebrations, and give rewards for investing in their community. And again, tax exemptions could be part of that. I think of 27 as rewarding. I thought this list could be easier. I'll read it quicker, but I know I'm saying a lot of side notes. Another idea I had, which I was thinking of, is like to cover what I normally cover in parts 3 and 4, like 31 to 40 in this one as well, but I decided not to do that this time. I know I do like to change things, but I'm a creature of habit, so I do struggle to make changes. But another thing is I was thinking about the middle name Rodriguez, which sounds like it's a Spanish name, so I wonder if they are part of Hispanic or whatever. But in this list, it did remind me that I want to stick to ones who are well known, like fully black, if you like, not mixed race. For some reason, I just thought, I suppose I take things literally, and I suppose I see things in simplistic ways. Like I think of it like, people might say it's not the same sort of thing, it's a political sort of thing or whatever, but I think of it like paint, the colour of paint. Like if you take black paint or whatever, or something that's black, and mix it with white or whatever other colour, you won't have black anymore. If that makes sense. Without wanting to be too controversial, but yeah, people who are purely black, if you like, call it that way. I don't mean that in rude way, but I hope that makes sense. But anyway, I'm going to move on to. So I don't. I wasn't. Obviously, he's not an entrepreneur. Well, maybe he became an entrepreneur, but I wouldn't include Obama in the list, like of black politicians, for instance. Maybe because I class him as a mixed race. But maybe I would include him. I don't know if I was struggling to find the names. Maybe. Number 28, Robert Smith, who was, I don't know if he still is, but the richest African American, and again, he might have dropped off the list a bit or whatever, but or down the list a bit. But I think he's the one who paid for. I often forget his name, but I think he's the one who paid for many students, many of them African Americans, to have their student debt covered or whatever. I'm not the biggest fan of academia, but obviously it is a very charitable thing for him to do, which would probably be good for his PR. But moving on, I'll miss it finally, but not quite. The penultimate one, 29, Damon John, I've talked about him recently, but I included him as under point number 29 because he's dyslexic like me, and my birthday's on the 29th, so I saw little connections and patterns. But yeah, that's something. And finally, a rather controversial one. I try not to offend people. I try not to bore or offend people, but I decided to include this one. I thought 30 miles a day and all that kind of thing, but I thought I'd include if there aren't any people who are or were from the adult industry who have transitioned into business or whatever, or running business at the same time, and someone who have or had, actually might have aged a bit, but I may well still have a crush on her, but someone who I had a crush on was or is Naomi Banks. I think her name is named after. If I read a story, I don't know if this is true, but her name is. I don't know if that's. I assume that's not her real name because it's named after the two hottest black models, or most attractive black models. I mean, which at the time or previous black models, which were Naomi Campbell and Tyra Banks, apparently. So it's an amalgamation of that. So obviously it's Naomi Banks, but Naomi Campbell I was classed as mixed race because she's part Japanese, although she might not appear, she might not look part Japanese or whatever. But yeah, I don't know if I should say this, but if I'm honest, probably not the most professional of me, but I know I'm not too professional. I was going to say, I was thinking in the shower, and I think I was going to say, I was thinking of what I might cover, and I was thinking, I hope this is not too unprofessional of me, but then again, I know I'm not the most professional, but I hope it's still, most importantly, I hope it benefits African Americans. But yeah, if I could have done it, or if I could go back in time, or in my ideal world, basically, I would have performed with Naomi Banks, if I'm honest, but as well as others. But yeah, maybe that's too much info. But yeah, I thought I'd include one. I know it's a bit of a risque one because I know the industry she was in, but she has transitioned to such, so to speak. I was thinking the word transition, but I hope not in that way. But if I'm honest, I've got to be careful what I say again. But I remember in an interview where she was talking on her YouTube channel. I can't remember if she was talking about her book or I think it was her book, one of the books she made, or she might be talking about her blog or vlog or whatever even. But I think it's a book which is Naomi Banks post porn, but now she's gone into like entrepreneurship, being an author, blogging and all that kind of thing. She's on YouTube and things like that. So technically she still is an entrepreneur. And I was thinking of like even both like male and female performers, and or of former performers or whatever, or people in the adult industry as well who have gone into business. I don't know why I just sort of think of that for one or two of the names on the list, but yeah, again, I know it's not the most professional. So as it happens, funny enough, the number 30 is at the end of this list, so which is sort of fitting. If only most things in life added like that, weren't like that. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up. Oh God, what was this? I just got a message up saying we need to restart your computer. So anyway, it's probably a good sign to finally wrap this up, giving away too much info. But yeah, I'll try and finish part 4 tomorrow, and also do parts 1, 2, 3, and 4, all being well, of youngpreneurs, which is going to be a challenge. I'm sure hopefully it'll be easier than I think. So I think it might be a bit hard to find 40 African American youngpreneurs. I suppose young is fairly relative, I guess, but yeah, supporting them and that kind of thing as much as possible. I'm going to try to stop laughing, and I'm out, and peace and love.